55 mark to begin the last part of the meditations. And now it has to be 6:24, 6:25. And I know that doesn't sound like much, but for some reason, it changes things up in such a way that it makes it a lot different to do it. But all right. Okay, so I see that we're on. That went pretty well, and we are looking once again at the Torah portion of Et Hanan. This is one of those sections that's very famous because I mentioned yesterday it has the other set of 10 commandments that are found in the book of Deuteronomy as opposed to the ones that are found in Exodus, and it also has the Shema and the Ve'ahavta in it. And yesterday and today we're actually taking a look at really that idea of love that is found in the Shema and Ve'ahavta. And hello, Kathy Kessler. Welcome back yourself out in Oklahoma. It's so nice that you're with us. And hello, Deborah. Nice to see you. I'm so glad you're joining us from San Francisco. This is like a national thing. We're all the way in Oklahoma. We're up in San Francisco. We're in Oregon. We're in New Jersey. It's pretty great. And it's amazing that we can all come together like this and be with each other in stillness, really, and quiet, and take this time to kind of sink into ourselves. So I thought we would continue on this idea of our relationship with the Creator or things like that. There's a important line that takes place right before Moses is giving the second set of 10 commandments that's found in Deuteronomy. And he has the line, "I stood between Adonai and you at that time to show you the word of Adonai, for you were afraid by reasons of the fire and didn't go up onto the mountain." So what Moses is saying here is, I'm the one who was a mediator between you and God because you were so afraid to receive the 10 commandments. If you remember that scene in the book of Deuteronomy, the people, got too afraid after they heard the first line of the 10 commandments, and they're like, no, you hear the rest of it. We can't handle it. So Moses is saying that he stood between the people and God. But in this book, Hasidic works, says the I in that line of "I stood between Adonai and you" at that time as not being Moses. It says the I of a person, the self-centeredness, is what stands between any person and the Creator. And as long as a person thinks about the I, it's difficult to approach God. I think that's a really important teaching. There are so many times I've observed in myself and others. You're in a conversation, halfway through the conversation, a person's talking to you, and halfway through they're talking to you, you've already decided what you're going to say. Because your point of view is most important. There are lots of moments in our lives when our I, our ego, our self-centeredness dominates us, and we're not able to see anybody else. And in those times, how can we imagine that there is anything greater than us? If we're self-centered, if the I is the most important thing, when would there be room for anything else? And I think what this teaching is also trying to tell us is that the only thing that stands in the way of our openness is our predisposition to only thinking about ourselves. And I have to admit, I think that's most of us. I think we go around and we have our point of view on the world. And when things happen, we interpret them. Sometimes we rely upon others to help us interpret. But really, for the most part, we're the ones that are forming our opinions, forming our judgments, and especially our judgments on others. I went somewhere last week, and there was one person there, didn't even say a word, but my mind convinced me that wasn't a person for me. And I left the place, and I'm like, why would I even think that? Why would I imagine that what I'm thinking about that person is true? Brings us to, all my thoughts are rumors anyway. And what was I afraid of? Why was I so concerned with the way I thought about it that I wasn't open to really seeing that other person for who they really were, instead of my view of what they might have been? And I think that's kind of part of what's happening here, is that sometimes the way the judgments that we put on others, the snap judgments that we make before we even have the whole story, truly keeps us from entering into wherever we are. And one might say that's true of the idea of God, or something that's greater than us, or the universe, or the fabric of everything, however we want to say it. That if I'm just constantly obsessed with the me, if all I think about is my own personal point of view and how it affects me, there really isn't room to allow anything else to come in. And I will share that sometimes when I get to this place where I've already made up my mind that I'm angry about something, or angry about someone, and no matter what they say, I keep my anger. No matter what's going on, I'm not open enough at those times to really listen to what the other is saying, and I have to force myself to do that listening. And I think that's the way a lot of us are, but it's so easy to kind of enter into your own head. You don't need to filter things that you say to yourself or the way you feel. But sometimes we're so in this is what I think, this is what I'm going through, this is what I'm feeling, this is what I'm hearing, that it doesn't leave us the opportunity at all to really delve into what that other person might be saying and how I might benefit from it. Now, it's easy to say and hard to do, I think, because when we get inside of our heads and we get inside of our beings without thinking about what's outside of us, then it's too insular. And how can we possibly go outside of ourselves? So, it's a simple lesson, I think, but a deep one, is that the thing that keeps us from the deepest relationships is our I, our ego, that thing that keeps us away from going outside of ourselves a little bit so that we can enter into the life of someone else or be a part of somebody else's experience, because we're so busy with the I of our own experience. And I think what the mindfulness is supposed to help us to do is to uncover those times when we are judgmental, when we are feeling these things, when our I is getting in the way, and just kind of get out of the way and just be. Get our mind out of it a minute. Our mind is just constantly churning, and it churns a lot with what I think, what I'm going through, what I need, and it's I. Sometimes it's important to let go of the I. That's part of what we do when we go to our breathing. So let's go there. Let's go to our breathing, our quiet moment where all we're doing is being. We're not thinking about anything necessarily. We're just being. We're just breathing. We're just a being on this planet existing for these 20-25 minutes that we're going to go quiet. It's not to say that we're not going to think. Your mind's going to take you away. So without judgment and in love, just bring yourself back to your breath. Then at the end, we'll ask to feel luminous and loved based on our second of the priestly benedictions. So let's get into a position that's comfortable and yet strong at the same time. And we get ourselves ready for our quiet. Oh, that yawn always comes before I do this. We're just sitting quietly. And we concentrate on our breath and how it feels in our body. And for now, we're just allowing things to be as they are. For now. We can go back to solving problems at 6:30. But for now, we just want to be. Get rid of our I. Get rid of our thoughts for a moment. And just feel the way your breath enters and leaves your body. as we finish up our last 5 minutes or so, call upon 2 feelings based upon our second priestly benediction. So we ask two favors, 2 feelings. May I feel luminous, and may I feel loved. May I feel luminous, to feel the light to be shining, knowledge, light, as in not heavy as well, to glow with feeling. May I feel luminous. And may I feel loved. I'm sure someone loves each of us. You have to feel it. And to go back to yesterday, you have to feel it for yourself. To love yourself. Or at least like yourself. May I feel loved. May I feel luminous. May I feel loved. May I feel luminous. May I feel loved. 2 questions. You can say them out loud. You can say them to yourself. You can whisper them. May I feel luminous. May I feel loved. 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 May I feel luminous and loved. May I feel luminous and loved. May I feel luminous. May I feel loved. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you were able to find some stillness and peace. And may you feel luminous. And may you feel loved. May you have a wonderful evening. We'll see you tomorrow.